How about them Cougs?
Big win. Matty Pickles, suck it. SMU. All you Dallas fans.
I did not know that Pardo is a big BYU fan.
Huge. He was
He
front row.
shows up at the game.
Yeah, he was freaking out-of-town game. He was there.
Incredible.
Massive BYU guy.
Wow, I would have never guessed.
Huge Cougar lover. He loves those Cougar tails.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. We are your hosts, Tyler.
And Jimmy
Miller. Jimmy, we finally came out with some merchandise, some merch.
Yeah.
Some T-shirts, some KOTC podcast T-shirts, and then also some Where's Jimmy T-shirts. To my surprise, big surprise, they've been selling well. We have a very limited amount left. We've probably sold through 3/4 of our initial shipment.
Wow.
And so if you guys want to get yourself some King of the Court podcast shirts or Where's Jimmy shirts, go click the link in the description below and get yourself some incredible merch.
They're popular.
We should have worn them on the show.
We should have.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our title sponsor of this show, which is the Pickler. We love the Pickler. They are the number one indoor pickleball facility in the entire world.
The world.
Jimmy, anything you'd like to add with them?
No. I mean, obviously, I'm a big Pickler fan. Not to be confused with Big Pickle. We were just up there actually.
Yes.
Doing a little taste test thing, but we were at their facilities and yeah, dude, they're top notch. Everything they do is they spare no expense. There's not a better facility to play at.
Yeah. We actually sat down with George and Jeremy with Stack, and we did a mini pod with them.
Yeah.
And that should be released probably the day before this one comes out. So if you have not yet seen it, make sure to click the link below to watch that. Also, big shout out to Pickleball Central. They are the number one online retailer for all things pickleball. They have paddles, bags, balls, whatever you want. You can get it at pickleballcentral.com.
The Titan ball machine.
The Titan ball machine supports us, and it's getting you the best price available. Use code for this month, KOTC0924.
Yes.
And then also, we love Stack Athletics, premium quality. They are supporting it.
Is this Stack?
This one is not. This is just a normal T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
I should wear it. Yeah.
Okay.
Normally I wear their hats.
I knew it wasn't Stack. You know why? Because when I felt it, it didn't feel premium quality.
Exactly. You should have known that.
Felt cheap.
Go to stackathletics.com. Use code KOTC to get you the best price and support us.
Again, Stack. I mean, I saw their vision for 2025 and all the things they're coming out with, and they're killing it. So check them out.
This last week, it felt like an eternity. We did not have anything pickleball related.
Did you enjoy your time off?
A little too much.
Like,
I didn't know what to do with my time.
Well, you
a
played
full weekend.
Yeah, I know, but you played a lot of pickleball.
A lot of pickleball. Yeah.
Connor Garnett's in town.
He's in
so
town.
You guys trained quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, it was weird. Now, look, it's the first full slate of NFL games today. We had college football. So there was plenty to do if you're a sports fan. Mm-hmm. But for a guy like you,
yeah.
Did you watch any college football games?
I did not, no. I got some updates via the Discord and from...
Do you have a fantasy football team?
I don't.
No? It's not called like Taylor's Boyfriend or anything?
That I would join, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyways, but pickleball is back this week.
Yep.
U.S. Open.
For tennis.
That was going on as well. So
okay, yes.
There's there's other things that were happening.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour Championship. You probably don't know what that is either.
Nope.
Did you follow any other sports?
Basketball.
Basketball
and tennis.
There's no NBA going on right now, though.
No.
But Jamal Murray just signed a 4-year, $208 million extension.
With who?
The Nuggets.
Nice.
It's a lot of money.
He's good. He's really good.
It's a lot of money for him.
Yeah. He's good, though.
He's like, that would be like signing, because he's probably the 15th to 20th best player in the NBA. So that would be like signing.
That's like me. I'm 18 right now.
Yeah. So if you got a $200 million extension.
Hey, I take it.
Yeah. So anyways, real quick before we get into Atlanta, let's talk U.S. Open.
U.S. Open tennis.
Donald Young. who is now fully converted pro pickleball player.
Has been for probably at least since the beginning of this year.
Yeah. So he decides that he's going to make one last run at mixed doubles at the U.S. Open. He signs up with Taylor Townsend, who
I believe is a childhood friend.
Yes. So Taylor Townsend actually trained under Donald Young's dad. And she obviously is still very, very successful. Donald Young hasn't been playing a ton of tennis.
I don't think he's been playing any this year.
Yeah. And they make a run to the U.S. Open mixed doubles finals.
So it begs the question, is tennis easier than pickleball?
I mean, in the words of Christian Alshon, he thinks it is.
It must be.
It must be, because a pro pickleball player made the finals of the U.S. Open.
Yeah, tennis.
So I have not watched a ton of mixed doubles tennis. And it's very interesting because, I mean, it's without a kitchen line, essentially, it's all about the dude reacting and using his length, right? And they just...
What length?
Exactly. I mean, they just stand at the net and just dominate. I feel like if you could get like some 7-footer that's super long that was good at tennis, you'd kill it at mixed doubles.
In tennis?
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into it than just being tall.
Well, I'm saying that's why I said and good at tennis.
Yeah, those two things are.
But anyways, they ended up losing 7-5, 7-5. They played great.
That's awesome. What's the prize money for that?
I don't know. Should we? I bet I can find it.
Yeah, type in U.S. Open tennis mixed doubles prize money.
Yeah. You think it's more than what he's making on the PPA tour? I doubt it. The winners get 200,000.
Yeah.
The second place gets 100,000.
It's not bad.
Each.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. So Donald Young took home.
So does he go back and start doing more tennis now that he's had a little bit more success?
Well, they did like a whole retirement ceremony and everything. So I think that he's good.
Okay, so we've talked about this multiple times on the show, but comparing tennis to pickleball. But somebody in one of the forums said, how can people even compare tennis to pickleball when somebody has to return a 130-mile-an-hour serve? Like, I just couldn't do it. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Here's what's kind of interesting is mixed doubles in tennis, and they mentioned this as I was watching, is when the guy serves, it's almost like a guaranteed, it's almost a guaranteed game. And so in pickleball, I think mixed is it makes it more, what's the word? I don't want to use the word fair, but the female has more of an impact.
Yeah.
Because of the way the serve rules are.
I would agree. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's. And you watch tennis, because somebody posted today, they said, I don't think that this is going to be a popular opinion, but watching, women's singles in tennis and comparing it to the athleticism in pickleball, it's not even close. Well, you do use more athleticism in tennis because it's a larger court. But let's not pretend when you watch these singles matches in pickleball that these players aren't.
I just don't know if I buy that entire argument because it has been proven. There have been top professional tennis players coming into pickleball who were athletic on the tennis court, yet they're not having results in pickleball. Does that mean they're not athletic in pickleball, but yet they are in tennis?
No, that's the thing. It means that it's a different game.
Exactly.
It means that it's a completely different game. And yes, do certain things translate? Sure. If you are
have you seen Kevin Durant try to dink?
Yeah, exactly. If you are, here's another one that I don't think people use enough of. But if you're a professional rugby player, right? There's a guy that he actually played football for BYU, Paul Lasike. He's one of the best rugby players in the world. And he came over to play football. And he played fullback, and he was decent, and he made a little bit of a run in the NFL. And he wasn't bad. But it doesn't all translate from rugby to the NFL. Does some of it? For sure.
Yeah.
But does every ounce of it? No.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with tennis, right? So you could be a high level tennis player, like a Jack Sock, like a Jeannie Bouchard, like a Donald Young. And does some of it translate? Absolutely. And that's why those guys immediately can compete on the pro tour But are those guys immediately contenders on the Pro Tour? No. Now, Jack Sock won with Annalee, but what has he done without Annalee, right? Donald Young he doesn't even get to the quarters most of the time.
He's been doing better, but up till now, I don't.
In singles, he's improved. Yeah. I mean, Jeannie, her first, she didn't even know how to do scoring or anything like that, so we got to give her a little bit of a pass there. But Jeannie is, she's getting better, but she's not really a threat at this point in her career. And so, it takes time for that to translate. And it depends on how much work they put in, just like anybody else. Now, do I think if a guy like Jack Sock really started grinding, got serious, got in good shape, lost some LBs in the caboose?
How many?
I'm not someone to talk
How many?
about another man's weight.
How many?
But 30 to 40 just in his ass alone.
God.
If he really got after it.
I was just throwing out a crazy number when we were talking about it, and I said like 50 pounds, and I got roasted for saying that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that and I'm not even saying that like Jack doesn't train hard. He might train hard. I don't know. I'm not there when Jack Sock wakes up in the morning, right? But my point is if he goes, super hard, and maybe he is, and he's just not quite there yet, then I think Jack Sock can be a great player, right? He's got an insane forehand. But even in tennis, he would circle it, right? And in pickleball, it's a lot more difficult. Donald Young, you could tell is putting in the work. He's getting better. Fortunately, he has to play with Rettenmeyer, so he's going to be 1-0 in Atlanta. But the point is they can get there, but it doesn't translate immediately. You don't wake up and become, a great player. I mean, Grayson Golden, we just had a little mini pod with him.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 junior player in the world, went to IMG or in the United States, whatever. And has it translated fully? No. Max Freeman and Will Howells are, high-level college tennis players. Will Howells was a 2-time All-American, right? Kate Fahey was a 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, these are high-level tennis players, and it's still taking them time to
I just thought it was funny that the guy was all like, you can't say pickleball is more athletic.
Yeah, and that's not true.
And I just don't think it's true because I think they're different games.
Yeah, exactly. They're different, and they actually use different types of athleticism. Right? Like tennis it's such a larger court. Are you going to need to sprint from side to side and use more, yes. But also, it's also a very service.
Sam Querrey. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, a lot of times in tennis, like you have a big serve and you can go a long ways just with that, right? Yeah, Sam Querrey is another great example of a guy who is, he's okay at pickleball as a professional. Very average. But he was a good tennis player. Yeah. By the way, do you know what the men's and women's singles payout is for the U.S. Open?
It's got to be over $1 million. It's probably 1.5 to 2.
3.6 million.
Yeah.
3.6, and then women's and men's doubles is 750, and then mixed gets no love.
I think tennis has a similar problem with pickleball. Is it's very, very top heavy. Yeah. So if you're in the top 20, top 30, or something like that, you're making a killing. But if you're outside the top 50 or top 100, then you're scraping by. And that's why a lot of these tennis players are coming over to pickleball because they're able to make a little bit more unless you're in the top whatever.
Well, so Donald Young's career earnings are about $4.6 million, but that's starting all the way back in 2012. Now, obviously, there's endorsements on top of that. And as a junior player, he was number 1 junior player. So I'm sure he's made more money than that. But at this point in his career, at 30, whatever years old, 34, 35?
He's got to be 35, yeah.
At this point, he's chose to come over to pickleball. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying he chose to come over to pickleball strictly for the money, but that means the money had to be enough in pickleball to where
I think he got a lot of players got fortunate because this was during the tour wars. Yeah. And had these contracts not been in place, there probably wouldn't be as many of these players that we're talking about.
That makes sense.
I actually think, and a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I actually think pickleball complements tennis in a lot of ways. Just your mindset, some specific shots. I think it helps quite a bit. I played tennis growing up, and I felt like I had to play every single day for me to stay in the rhythm and the groove. But now, the past few years, I play occasionally, and I feel like I can pick up pretty much where I left off. And I'm assuming that's how Donald Young feels.
Yeah, well, he obviously just did. Yeah. He did it.
Yeah, I mean, Jeannie Bouchard, she's out playing in tournament or exhibition match. And so
Yeah, she plays both.
obviously-
She seems to play both pretty regularly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who think that it might mess up your game. And if you're at a lower level, it might. But I think if these high-level athletes, I think they're able to switch back and forth pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, I would be curious, like a guy like Connor Garnett, you know, he picks up a tennis racket, how he feels, because obviously he was a pretty good tennis player.
Yeah.
You know, Jaume.
Yeah.
Who was the best tennis player that wasn't a pro, like a legitimate pro?
Well, I think they're pretty much everyone was not a legitimate pro. I mean, the pros, you named them, Jack Sock, Sam Querrey, Jeannie Bouchard. Those are like the only legitimate pros.
Donald Young. You don't count Colin Johns?
I would say no.
He likes to tell people he played pro tennis.
I mean, playing on the tour, trying to play, I don't know. Maybe he would be.
Is Tyra a pro?
I don't know. You're getting me in hot water.
Well, I feel like she was. I mean, she played pro tennis for several years.
Yeah, but just because you play doesn't mean you were making a living or even in the top 100. Right now, to this day, I could go out there and sign up for a pro tournament or a qualifier or a challenger, and that
Colin John's high ATP ranking was 978.
Gotcha.
So are you saying top 100 is a legit pro?
I would say top 500, top 4 to 500 would be pretty legit.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Did you know that he was an assistant tennis coach at Florida Gulf Coast?
That I did know, yeah. I think he was another coach somewhere too.
Interesting. All right, so
okay,
moving on.
All right, so we have one interesting update. So the PPA announced that they're sick of these big serves, so they're trying to axe it.
Yeah.
They have a proposal that they are testing out for 60 days, and it is essentially, do you know the rules, Jimmy?
No, I was going to look it up. I don't have the email in front of me. Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, but essentially what it's saying is you have to release.
I got it.
All right, read it to us.
All right. The provisional rule will be under evaluation for 60 days, after which a determination to alter, abolish, or implement will be made. The ball must be released downward.
Okay, so like this.
From the waist area, so not even up there.
Yep.
From the waist area, a drop from the hand may not be tossed upwards, but can incur minimal and natural lift. Everyone wants good natural lift.
Everyone.
Women pay a lot of money for that. Up to one ball length.
Mm-hmm.
The swing on the serve must be underhand, around 45 degrees or less, and the paddle must clearly travel in a low to high direction.
Mm-hmm.
Serves where either the ball is tossed too high on the release or the swing was not clearly in a low to high motion will first result in a service warning and reserve. Each player is allowed one service warning per match. Subsequent violations will result in a fault.
What are your thoughts?
AKA the Deckelbar rule.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other players that toe the line very, very closely, but he is one of the most notable names that people complain about.
Do you think? I mean, I think that. So we talked about all the times that Deckel was getting called by Alan Roman, and I got a couple messages, and it seems like maybe Alan Roman was the sacrificial lamb, and that PPA essentially was trying to crack down on the serve, and a lot of people were complaining about his serve, and so they essentially went to Alan and said, "We got to fix this."
Yeah.
And I've heard that it's come all the way as high as Tom Dundon has an issue with it. Has an issue with this serve situation, and so they want to get it fixed.
Yep.
And so I think that is, what this is essentially trying to do. Now, I don't know if this is going to change anything, but what it does is it comes out and it's like, hey, now we're going to have to start enforcing this. So, we like to compare pickleball to other sports. We'll compare NFL, for instance. The NFL, every year they have some point of emphasis that they're going to go after. And this year, the point of emphasis is going to be offensive linemen lining up too far in the backfield. Okay, so when you line up in an NFL game, the linemen have to be essentially in a straight line. Well, what happens is offensive tackles who are on the end of the line will line up like a foot behind the guards, so that they have a little bit of a head start to get back and protect their quarterback, right? And so essentially what started happening was in the Ravens-Chiefs game, first game of the year, they kept calling a tackle for the Chiefs, Ronnie Stanley, or for the Ravens, Ronnie Stanley, for a penalty every single time, like over and over and over, because he was lining up too far in the backfield. And they made kind of an example out of him. And I think that that's what's going to happen here is this is going to be their point of emphasis. Atlanta, we're going to see a bunch of these calls. And then eventually either the players will have to adjust, which is kind of what happened after Palm Springs when they made that rule, right?
Well, but they changed it mid-tournament.
Yes.
And so
either the players will have to adjust, or they're going to get these penalties. But I think that if the players never adjust, we kind of see it fade out. Because I do think that by week 8 of the NFL season, Ronnie Stanley is going to be 2 yards in the backfield again at the snap because, these things, it's all about enforcement, and it's got to be like referees. It's one thing to come out for first game. It's one thing to come out first tournament and enforce it super hardcore. And then, when you're 6 weeks into this rule and nobody's abiding by it, it's like the refs are like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Because they believe it or not, like I give Alan Roman a lot of crap about wanting to be the face of the PPA, but refs want to be anonymous.
Some.
I made a comment once about a referee from Utah refereeing a match that had 4 Utah players in it, and he wasn't happy with me about it. And he said that he sent me a message and said he would appreciate if I wouldn't. He said it made it sound like there was some bias involved there, and all I was doing is pointing out that there were 4 Utah players and a Utah referee all on one court. I wasn't stating there's any sort of bias. And so I think refs want to stay anonymous for the most part. They don't want people to, they don't want to control the outcome of the match.
Yeah.
And so I think that if the players don't make the adjustment and start following the rule, at some point the refs are just going to be like, okay, now what do you want us to do? Because
I think they'll keep calling it though.
Well, I think that they will slow down on calling if the players never change. The players will.
The players will change if they get called on it.
If they get called on it enough, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Zane, I don't know if you saw, but he put out a tweet and he said, "I'll Venmo anybody $10 if they can send me a screenshot or a video of Deckel actually breaking the previous service rule." And I don't know how many people sent him.
Did you see Jordy Barstool?
I did not know. What did he say?
He said, "This is the easiest $10 I've ever made," and he has a picture of Deckel playing tennis with it over hitting his serve.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so like you said, a lot of this will be interesting to see how it plays out in Atlanta. Hopefully the weather holds. There is a little bit of rain in the forecast.
How's your serve, Ty? How do you feel like? Do you feel like you've ever had an illegal serve?
I've been called on a serve one time for a redo, but I should be fine.
You're not worried about it?
No. All right, moving on. We are going to get into the Atlanta draws, but first we'd like to give a big shout out to our next sponsor of this segment, which is C&D Pickleball Nets.
C&D.
They are the best pickleball nets out there. Go get them for your house. Go get them for your clubs. Go get them for your churches, your driveways, whatever you need. Use these nets. I promise you they will make pickleball even more fun if you are using these nets.
Do you think they play pickleball in a lot of churches and places besides Utah?
I'm sure they do, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that a big thing?
YMCAs, gyms, everywhere.
When I was in Destin, I went to Destin, Florida a few years ago. And actually, I'm answering my own question. And they have this outside of Destin in, Fort Walton Beach. They have Jet Park, and that's kind of where everybody goes. But when it rains, which it does often, there's a church you can go play at. And I went to this church because it was
C&D?
raining, and it was like this, they had a C&D net, and it was this old church. I think it was like some sort of Methodist church. Shout out SMU, you lost. Anyways, they had a C&D net in there, and the lines, they were taped lines with duct tape, but the flooring was like, it wasn't even gym floor. It was like cafeteria floor, where it's kind of soft.
Yeah.
And so we used like an Onyx indoor ball, and like the lighting was bad. The windows were stained glass, so like Literally, there were stained glass windows, so like the light, it was horrible.
Ben Johns would have loved it.
Yeah. Oh, Ben would have lost his mind because the walls were like orange, so he couldn't see the onyx ball. In fact, someone pulled out one of those red pen balls at one point. But point is, all that, and they still had a freaking C&D net.
Yeah.
They had like a nice net, and the rest of it was like, huh.
Yeah.
And there was a huge line of people just waiting to play. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So,
I have a friend who is in Peru, and they are trying to get pickleball going, and they said they want to order 3 of the C&D pickleball nets.
yeah, because Peruvians only the best for Peruvians.
All the way in Peru.
Yeah.
So, reach out to them, bestpickleballnets.com. If you guys are ordering 5, 10 plus nets or whatever for your facility, reach out to them. Tell them that we sent you. They will get you the best price possible.
And the other thing is they're the best freaking dudes.
Yes,
ever.
really good people. All right, moving on to Atlanta tournament. So it is called the Atlanta Slam, and it is back in Peachtree. And so let's go right into, what do you want to go into first? Do you want to go into women's singles?
Yeah.
Okay, women's singles. So have all the big names. Annalie is playing. Xiao Yi Wang, Salome, Lacey, Brooke. All the girls are playing. Any interesting matchups, or do you see anything wild happening here in women's singles?
Yeah. So women's singles, I mean, I just feel like, it's always Annalise to lose. Right. And
so Kate Fahey played Annalie. Do we see a rematch of that? They played in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Do we see a rematch of that?
I mean, I think Kate Fahey is the hot name right now. I think that she's the one that's kind of, the one that's been, the up and comer, but she got her first taste of Annalie, and it probably didn't go as well as she wanted. So, yeah, I think that she is the favorite to probably face her.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I mean, she doesn't have pulling it up here, she doesn't have the easiest road either. I mean, women's singles it's not quite, I don't think it's quite men's singles yet. But I mean, it's definitely getting there. I mean, Kate Fahey's all the way up to an 11 seed, but dude, she would have to play Paris Todd in the round of 16, right? And then, I mean, Annalie's got Zoe, and then she would have to play Salome in the quarters or Lacey Schneeman in the quarters. I think that hers is, and then she'd have to probably play Georgia or Judith or Brooke Buckner in the semis. Leia gets the 2 seed, so no Catherine.
Interesting.
Yeah. So no Catherine. So, I mean, I think it's very possible. I mean, Leia would have to play Caitlin Christian in the quarters. I mean, I would say that there's a good chance we're looking at another Fahey and Caitlin Christian, semis.
Okay.
Unless Leia can get back to, she's kind of been struggling a little bit lately, and it's all mental for her. I think if she can get back to that, then we can see Leia there. And then, I don't see anybody messing with Annalie up the top part of that draw.
Okay.
So it could very well be Fahey and Annalie again.
Moving on to men's singles. We got everyone's playing in this one. Ben Johns is playing in this one.
Yeah.
He is coming in at the number 2 seed, and Federico is the number 1 seed. Any matchups or anything like that you're looking forward to? So Connor Garnett in Las Vegas, he got upset by Noe Khalif.
So, and Noe will get, if he beats Johnny Pickleball, which he will, he gets Ben Johns.
Yes.
In the round of 32. It's very possible Ben Johns loses in the round of 32. I think Noe can beat him.
I think he can, but I actually don't think Noe's game matches up well against Ben's.
I mean, they play as similar. Ben plays Noe a similar game, but better.
Yeah.
A better version, but that's a tough round of 32 match.
Yeah.
But I do think if Ben beats Noe, he's got smooth sailing to essentially the quarters. And in the quarters, I mean, we got J-Dub. We'll probably have to play, I would assume, Donald Young. And Jaume will most likely play. Who wins that? Cher Bear or Wyatt Stone?
Depends on which Cher Bear shows up.
Yeah, so I mean, we're probably going to see J-Dub and Jaume would be my guess in the round of 16.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that would play Ben.
So Ben would hope that JW wins because
Yeah.
Ben does very well against him.
Yeah.
I think Jaume Did he beat him the last time? I don't know if he's beaten him the last time they played, but he's beaten him already once or twice.
Yep. Yeah, and then Tyson's got a little tough. He's got a tough little bracket because he's going to have to see Hunter or Gabe Joseph.
Yeah.
In the round of 16,
Yep.
and then on the bottom half of that bracket, we've got Dylan Frazier, Pablo, Naveen Beasley, Zane is back in singles.
Yeah.
So I mean, men's singles is going to be tough. Now you get DJ Young.
I'm playing singles. I get DJ Young in the round of 64. Yep.
Shout out to Darian.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have possibly Eric Roddy.
Possibly, but these TBDs, these qualifiers that come through, I mean, Grayson Golden, he has to play qualifiers.
Yeah.
He could be in that position.
Yeah, if it's a Grayson Golden or a Chris Hayworth or someone like that,
exactly.
it could get wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's Feds to lose, as always, as how it's been. But this could be one where Ben makes a deep run. This could be where Ben gets back on his Triple Crown track.
This would be a great tournament. There's a lot of points at stake. So
yeah, and his progressive draw, and I think that Ben will play well in that. So,
and well, depending on the weather, but I think he likes Atlanta. The courts play well, and it's a good setting, good environment.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Let's go into mixed doubles.
Mixed doubles. One thing that really stands out to me: no Tyler Leung.
I am not there.
No Tyler Leung in mixed doubles.
Can you throw on a wig and we could play?
Yeah, I think we'd do pretty well. I think we would beat Sophia Sewing and Colin Johns.
Sophia, okay. I've never seen that name before.
Well, must be one of Colin's proteges he's grooming.
I don't like that word.
I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, do you see anything here, Ben, Johns, Annalee?
I mean, Ben and Annalee have a pretty... They'll probably get Matt and Lucy, most likely. But Lauren and Kwong could beat Matt and Lucy. And
no.
You don't think?
No.
You don't think Kwong could just light up Lucy?
No.
You don't think he's just going to come out and hit every ball at her as hard as he can?
No.
And then Matt's going to chirp and Kwong's going to stare at him? I don't know.
They'll be fine.
Well, then you got Matt and Lucy against Ben and Annalee in the round of 16.
Yeah, I would say Daniel De La Rosa and Tammy Emmerich would give Ben and Annalee a little bit more.
They could. They're interesting, yeah.
If Daniel gets hot, he's very tricky.
Yeah, Tammy can be tough too.
Normally, in the past, he's gotten hot for like one game, but it's been hard for him to sustain it for multiple games.
Does Sophia Sewing and Colin Johns beat Angie Walker and Chuck Taylor?
I don't know who this Sophia is, so I can't.
She's played a few tournaments before. She's kind of an up and comer. She's not bad.
Okay.
And then I really like. I mean, Hayden and Leia against Jay and Callie. That's a tough matchup.
Okay, so somebody mentioned Federico and Rachel, how they haven't had much success the past few months. Yeah. What's your take on that? Agree or disagree?
I mean, I think they've been fine. I just don't. What are your expectations for them?
Well, I think they started off the year almost getting to the semis in pretty much every tournament, or maybe even the finals.
Yeah.
And the past few tournaments, I don't think they've maybe gotten to the quarters a couple times. Should they continue? Should they stay together, or should they split?
So by the way, just real quick, Sophia Sewing has 4. She's only 25. Mm-hmm. She has 4 career singles titles and 14 double titles on the ITF circuit.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's not bad.
That's very impressive.
She plays WTA Challenger. She has 1 runner-up. She got as high as number 9 in the world in juniors, and she's right now number 455.
Wow. That's awesome.
So she's a pretty good tennis player.
Yeah.
All right. So
I was talking about Fed and Rachel.
Yeah, I think they've done fine.
Stick together or split?
I think they've done fine, but I think, I think the expectation is that they could challenge Ben and Annalee, and they haven't done that. Mm-hmm. And so we may see them split at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. You know who actually would be a good partnership?
Who?
Rachel and James.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't stick out to me, but I mean.
Well, James and Anna are back together for this one,
mm-hmm.
Putting their differences aside.
What differences?
You know what differences.
Okay.
And they're back together for this one.
Wow, look at that one.
Oh, wow.
Elise Jones and Riley Newman are partnering up.
That'll be very interesting. Didn't they play together when...
That's when she got bumped off the court.
When she got bumped off the court, and wasn't that the same one where Annalee called her a cheating...
That's what people thought.
Yeah. called her a cheating B word.
Yeah.
That's what they thought she said.
Yeah. Parento is with Alshon. I like that.
Yeah, so those two have committed to quite a few together. Jackie and Jack Sock will be interesting because I think that's a partnership that could do well, but they'll run into Parento and Alshon in the round of 16, which will be very tough for them. Connor and Alex Trong back together again.
Players right now that are listening are just hoping that you say they won't do well because then they will.
I know.
The Jimmy curse.
I know. If I say you're overrated, you'll probably win it.
So
right?
Who can you say? Say my name. Say my name.
I know. I mean, they're honestly, I really like Jesse and Gabe's draw.
Okay.
They would probably end up with Riley and Elise or Travis and Jade, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think those are both winnable. Travis and Jade do seem to have success together, though. They seem to do decent.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what your definition of success is. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds or whatever? But they seem to win two rounds.
Yeah, I think if you look here, the reality of it is the if you had to bet $1 million, I bet you could nail the semis. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that the semis generally play out. There's not, it's not very often that you're going to see like a Pablo and a Mary Brasha make a run all the way to the semis. Now, will they make a run to the quarters?
What about a Julian Arnold?
No. But will they make a run to the quarters and upset some people? For sure.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Pat Smith and Zoe, right? Could Pat Smith and Zoe make a run?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But Pat Smith and Zoe have to play Jesse and Gabe in the round 32. Like, that's what makes it tough. Now, if they beat them, then all the brackets get
Etta Wright with Augie Ga. That's a little interesting.
Yeah, Etta, I'm not sure anybody has more mixed partners than Etta. She is really trying to find out what that
She's going like through them all and just line them up.
Yeah, I mean, she did just play with Travis, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's played with you.
Mm-hmm.
She's played with Colin.
Mm-hmm.
I
think she's played with Connor Garnett.
Yeah, she's had quite a few. So. Yeah.
All right. I mean, mixed doubles is really tough to say anybody else other than Ben and Annalie. They've had so much success this year. Have they lost this year?
No.
I don't think they've lost.
No. I think they've only lost once.
Yeah.
In like 18 months or something.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's go back to men's doubles or women's doubles now?
Let's go to men's.
Okay. Men's doubles. All right. So once again, the field is stacked. They are actually doing the qualifiers on Monday. And so by the time you guys listen to this, all the qualifiers will have been played.
Yeah.
And the matchups will be set.
Yeah, so men's doubles. Interesting. So Deckel and James Ignatowicz.
So James and Dylan are still the number one, which is great. But they have not they haven't won any for the past 4 tournaments.
Yeah, they've had quite.
So it's a little interesting that they're still able to maintain that number one when they haven't.
But the thing is Ben and Colin haven't either.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so they haven't really gained ground on them. Now I would guess that like Pablo and Hayden or Fed and those guys have gained a little bit of ground.
So I was number 18 in rank before the last tournament. And we finished 4th. We got a 4th place finish, and I was stoked on that. I'm like, okay, this has got to boost my ranking up 2, 3, maybe 4 spots. Guess where it took my ranking?
To 18.
18. The exact same spot.
I mean, it's with it being a 52-week.
The exact same spot.
With it being a 52-week, situation, you got to win multiple tournaments to move your spot. That's tough. That's gonna make it hard.
Yeah.
And the guys in front of you all have to lose.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
a top 4 finishes, I mean, it's decent.
Yeah, it is decent. It is, for sure. But you need like 3 more of them probably.
Exactly.
And so you and Connor Garnett are playing, and you will get Riley and Christian in the round of 16.
In the round of 16, our second round, assuming we win our first one.
Yeah, which
is crazy.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, all of these. We're probably going to see Hunter and Julian against Fed and Matt. CJ Klinger, Todd Fote are going to play Zane and Rafa in the round of 32, most likely. Daescu and Tardio are back at it again.
So they'll play Ben Johns.
So they'll play Ben and Colin, in the quarters. Yeah, so that one that'll be a tough matchup. Deckel and Ignatowicz.
Yes.
This is the one that James dropped you.
Yeah, I was supposed to be playing with.
You're supposed to be playing
yeah.
with James, so you could have had Rettenmeyer and Donald Young.
Well, the points may have been different, but.
Okay, but still. Tyson and Jaume against Augie and
Deckel
Kwong.
has a lot. He's like number 6.
Yeah, he has
a lot of points because
Killing
James is like 20 or 22 in the rank.
Yeah,
right now.
Deckel's got a ton of points. So does in mixed too.
Yes, he's had a great year. He's
Yeah.
had a really good year.
Yeah, he has. So Augie and Kwong,
Mm-hmm.
can they beat Tyson and Jaume?
You would think no, but if Tyson and Jaume have a tournament like Bristol where they lost to Dow and Scarborough, then it's a possibility.
Yeah,
but
right.
I mean, on paper, you would say no.
Yeah, I think that they're going to upset him. Well, it depends on Kwong's ankle too.
I think his ankle is more of an issue in singles.
Oh, okay. And then, J-Dub and Dylan are going to, I mean, Roscoe and AJ Kohler may beat DJ and Callan.
Maybe.
And so, there's a lot of tough ones. And then Hayden and Pablo, it's another tough team. But I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Okay.
I think this is the tournament that Ben wins a Triple Crown.
That's a pretty bold prediction.
I think Ben's back
Okay.
for this tournament only. And him and Colin win, and they win a Triple Crown. He wins a Triple Crown.
Okay. I think men's doubles is so tough.
I
I could
do
see
too.
him. I could see him winning mixed and singles,
Mm-hmm.
but I think men's doubles it's anybody's game.
Oh, I think it is too.
I wouldn't count him out, but
Yeah.
that's a very bold prediction.
All
Okay.
right, women's doubles. A couple interesting things. So Vivian David and Paris Todd are close, and they're on the same team together. And then Leia and Tina have been playing together quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But in this event, Paris is playing with Leia, and Tina is playing with Vivian David, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, I think that Tina and Vivian David might be the best defensive team.
Yeah.
We need to find some offense for that team, but defensive.
Shelly
really-
Bates is making her way back from the south.
From down under,
From where?
being down under.
Gotcha. Australia.
Spends a lot of time down under, I'm sure.
Australia?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah. That's what
Gotcha.
I meant. I mean, Catherine and Annalie, look, pencil them in for the finals right now. Elise and Tyra is interesting. Man, Elise got good partners for this event.
Yeah.
She got Tyra and Riley. I really like Georgia and Glassman. I think that team can make a deep run.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would shock me if that team's playing Annalie and Catherine in the quarters.
Okay.
Callie and Lucy back together.
A little reunited.
Yeah, reunited. I think they'll have a tough matchup with Zoe and
Brooke.
Brooke. Now, Millie and Bobby Oshiro could beat Brooke and Zoe too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good team too. Bottom half of the bracket, Anna and Rachel. So I think their biggest test might actually come from Kate Fahey and Lina.
Lauren Stratman is back with Jesse Irvin. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that partnership?
No, I mean, I would just move them around. How about that? Just move them around a little bit. Move the ball around. I want Lauren Stratman to be good again. I like Lauren Stratman.
Do you like Julian?
I have zero, like Julian, I'm completely indifferent towards Julian Arnold. But Lauren Stratman, I want to see success for her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
A little sexist.
I would like her to be relevant again. Jackie and Lacey Schneeman versus Paris and Leia will be a really good round of 16 matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That one could be tough. And then Etta and Megan.
So isn't that Audrey Bonanda girl?
Bonata, yeah.
Bonata? Didn't they upset a team?
Her and Sarah Ansberry made the semis.
So maybe they have a rerun.
Maybe, but I can't remember, what's it called?
The holiday or the tradition.
Yeah, where she has to basically doesn't go from sundown.
But is that every week or was that just that specific time?
No, it's every weekend.
Every single
On
weekend?
Saturdays, yeah, or whatever. So she doesn't. So that's why
Gotcha.
she can do the progression draws.
Gotcha.
But if she makes a progression draw, like she makes a semis,
Yeah.
then that's when she essentially has to be done
Gotcha.
by So what's it called?
PPA will throw them out on the last match.
Yeah, well, that's what they did to her. What's it called? Bahad or something? Anyways,
I'm going to butcher it.
yeah. Anyways, yeah. But she lives on the East Coast,
Okay.
and so her and Ansberry made that deep semis run, and then she kind of had
Cool.
to.
I love seeing this. There's a lot more. It looks like a lot more competitive teams here in the women's doubles. So at the round of 32, I think there should be some really good matchups.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Okay,
all
anything
right.
else with the
No,
draws?
I mean, Atlanta's a great venue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, there was a little bit of a leak of a scheduling that came out.
Yes, I
And
saw it.
essentially, MLP is going to be the last 2 weeks of April all the way through, which is something we've talked about, all the way through August.
Yep.
And it's going to be almost strictly MLP, other than sounds like 3 events that were already contracted, which one of them is Atlanta.
3 events, so.
Yeah, 3 events during the, one of them's Atlanta, one of them's 3 PPA events. One's San Clemente, and one's Bristol. But all the rest will be MLP during that time.
Gotcha.
How do you feel about that?
I will need to see the full schedule because they did send all the players like a tentative schedule. But even when they send those out, even when they send out the finalized schedule, they still make a lot of changes. And so I'm just waiting around to see the actual final complete schedule before I start planning and start thinking about it too much.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Definitely.
Who knows if there's another Tour Wars or something like that. Have to blow up the entire schedule.
Yeah.
Anything else with that? At Atlanta, they actually added like 8 to 12 more or permanent indoor courts and then also outdoor courts. So if they do have to move indoors, they should be able to accommodate that a little bit easier. Also, for this tournament, they are using the close replay system.
Yeah.
I believe only on 2 courts, so center and GS. So say goodbye to bad line calls on those courts, hopefully. Knock on wood. Anything else with that?
No, I mean, I think it's awesome that we have the close call replay system on 2 courts. I mean, I think that's huge, and I'm excited for that this week. Like, I think, it should be.
Okay, getting into our last segment, which is questions. But first, we have to give a big shout out to our next sponsors of this segment, which is Vulcan Pickleball. Vulcan is the official ball of the PPA Tour and also the MLP. It's the V Pro Flight. It's the ball that everybody uses, not just the pros, the amateurs as well. You can get yours at vulcansportinggoods.com. Use code KOTC for the best price possible, or also at pickleballcentral.com using code KOTC0924. Also, we have another sponsor, which is Holy Performance.
Yeah.
Jimmy, tell us about our excursion this week.
Yeah, so we went up to the Pickler, and we tried new flavors of Holy, right?
For the KOTC official flavor.
Yeah, so we tried multiple flavors, and they were all delicious, was it not?
Yes, so the flavor that we settled on, I don't know if we want to give it away just yet.
No.
But it's amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And the other ones we tried, like we tried a tiger's blood flavor. Mm-hmm. It's freaking amazing. It was like
Don't give too much away.
I won't, but it was like a snow cone.
Yeah.
And I even had that little like coconutty aftertaste.
Yeah.
Tang. Yeah. I don't know how many of you had Tang as a kid, but it was. These flavors are so good, and they're all these flavors are actually going to come out and be Holy flavors, but there will only be one official KOTC flavor.
Yeah. And it's fitting.
And it is fitting, and it is delicious.
Yeah.
And we'll do something fun, like a big reveal when we do it.
But also, they have updated their flavors.
Yeah.
And kind of swapped out some new things here and there. So
the new pineapple flavor.
The new pineapple is
amazing.
incredible. It's really good, honestly. It tastes good. It tastes sweet. If it tastes good or tastes sweet, I'm having it. If it doesn't, I most likely won't.
And it's 0 sugar.
And 0 sugar.
Electrolytes.
Yep.
It's got, again, they have pregame, in-game, and post-game. So they have all of your flavors. They have everything you need to enhance your performance enhancing. So check them out, holyperformance.com. Use code KOTC.
All right, moving on to questions. Real quick, I forgot to mention a question last week. Chris Hayworth wrote in.
Okay.
And he said, how does a player like myself get a PPA contract? And this is from Chris Hayworth.
Connor, we know you watch the show, or you have your minions, or somebody. You need to sign Chris Hayworth. I mean, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process is behind signing players, like, because Chris Hayworth by far is a top 3 singles player.
Yeah, I think
top
so.
3 singles player.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're just signing him for singles, for sure. If you're wanting a complete package, mixed doubles and doubles, then there might be a little bit of pause there. But if you're signing players just for one category, one event, then it's a no-brainer. Okay, moving on to questions. Would you say there are more soft mentalities in pickleball than compared to other sports?
Soft?
Yeah, I think just snowflakey.
I mean, pickleball is interesting because I do think that there's like, and I don't think it's pickleball in general, but it does seem like there's personalities in pickleball that are really good at trash talking, or like they want to be like these polarizing personalities, and maybe I'm one of them. But then when you bring it back to them, they get in their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And especially some of these players on the court, right? Like they want to chirp, 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 and then you give it back to them. You saw it in one of your matches, and then they kind of get in their feelings. The difference is the players that can leave it on the court and walk away, like we've talked about, like a Hayden.
Yeah.
And the players that take it with them off the court and they say that they hate you and they're in their feelings, you know?
Well, I would even add on to that is there's players that can take it or receive it, but also still play well. There's some players that when they start getting mad, they don't play well. And then there's also others that when they start talking, they actually play even better.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
But I would actually, in addition to your question, I would say, in my opinion, it's almost like the day that we live in now, like the generation that we live in, the environment, it seems like there's a lot of things that are a little bit more soft. A lot of people complain about a lot more than it seems like they used to in the past.
Yeah, even like the yelling. People are like, oh, Georgia and all over yelling. Like who cares?
Yeah, but I'm talking about in general, in everything in life, in business, and everything that you do. It seems like there's a lot more complaining than
for sure
in prior times.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy needs to tell us who they said primary donnas, but I think they meant to say prima donnas are, and why. Are there any prima donnas that?
No. So I've actually talked to some of these pro player liaisons quite a bit, and most of them say that the players are actually not bad to deal with. There are some that have, when there's like scheduling issues, or if there's some sort of like bracket issues or things like that, then I think that's, I think that they can get a little bit loud, I'll say. But it sounds like most of the players are okay. Now, there are some players that don't realize that they're playing pro pickleball for a living, and they think that they're like these legit celebrities. And, part of that is the fans have created that, which is good. Like, we want pickleball to be huge, and so we want them to have that kind of celebrity, status within the pickleball community. But don't think that walking down the street, you're going to get recognized like you're freaking, Kevin Durant, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think so? You saw that picture in Vegas where Kevin Durant, Anna Bright, Tardio, and Hayden ran into Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
they took a picture with him.
Yeah.
Like, do you think when Hayden was like, "Dude, I used to play for the Aces," he had any idea?
He probably actually did. He's somewhat involved. He'll repost some of the Aces stuff. He reposted a picture.
Well, is that because Samin runs it?
No, he's involved. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's one of the more involved.
Well,
like
we know
LeBron,
Kevin Durant runs his
LeBron
own.
James. He wouldn't know anything.
Yeah. Well, we know Kevin Durant runs his own social because some of the crazy stuff he says.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
somebody said, what happened to Catherine and JW's results? So to my knowledge, they only played mixed doubles a couple times, 1 to 2 years ago, and they had good results, but I don't know if they just wanted to keep it in the family and play JW in Georgia or what, but they didn't play this year. They haven't played this year.
Yeah. What do you think about? Here's a question: do you think JW and Georgia should stay together?
What are your thoughts? We all know your thoughts.
I just feel like they're not winning.
Well, they are winning. They're getting to at least the semis.
Yeah, but they're not winning.
No, but how many teams are actually winning?
Well, only one, but that's my point. Is it a Riley Newman thing where Riley Newman dropped Matt Wright because he was tired of getting there and losing?
Yeah, but look at Riley's results for the past year after that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
would you rather have that, or would you rather finish top 3, top 4?
I think he would rather have the bank account he has right now.
Yeah.
I think he's okay with where he's at because he's padding his pockets.
Okay.
But with that being said, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I mean, look at Fed and Pablo, right? Fed and Pablo did the same thing. They
Yeah.
were good, but they weren't they weren't winning.
Yeah.
And then they both ended up getting wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is that something that J-Dub and Georgia should do?
The
Or
only
J-Dub, I mean,
the only thing that I'll say with J-Dub is, I mean, he's a very unique personality. He's not very loud on the court, and so for him to have success in mixed doubles with somebody else, I think he would require a very specific type of female partner.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And some
Like
of the stuff
like one that doesn't talk.
Yeah, just the whole, yeah. I mean, one that kind of matches his energy. I don't know.
But Georgia's a screamer now.
Yeah, she is now.
She's not really matching his energy. She's like
Maybe she's providing it for him.
she's providing the
Yeah.
energy, exactly.
But I mean, it's his sister. I mean, there's different relationships and
that's
stuff
true.
like that. So
But you know one thing I don't think Georgia does get enough respect for? She's younger than Annalie.
what is she, 16 right now?
I think she might be it might only be a few months.
Okay.
But she's younger than Annalie. Now, does she have the success of Annalie? No.
But is that because Annalie's here? If Annalie weren't here, would she be the number one female player?
I think that she would be up there for sure. That's what I'm saying. I think that she may only be like a month or so younger than her, but she is technically younger. And yeah, I mean, she is. I just don't think that she gets the credit that she deserves playing at such a high level at 17 years old because Annalie is playing at such a high level at 17 years old.
Okay.
So
Will Jimmy bleach his hair to look like Tyler?
no.
What about your facial hair? Your eyebrows?
No. In high school, I had bleached hair, bro.
You had everything in high school. You also had a lot of friends that were questionable in high school.
Well, that's true, too. I had earrings. I had to make my ears pierced.
Rough childhood.
It was,
How far would Annalie and Ben make it in the draw if Annalie played left and Ben on the right? That's a good question.
that is a good question. I think they would probably make it to the same spot.
I don't think they would.
You don't think they'd win?
No.
You don't think Ben could overplay
Not on the other side.
on the right with his backhand flick?
I don't know. I think it'd be quite a bit different.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. The thing is if you did that, though, then you would have Annalie in front of a girl, right?
Yeah.
And Ben in front of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it affects them all that much.
I think it would. I mean, they already have some close matches, and in those close matches, if the other team can score literally just 1 to 2 points difference in each game, which being out of position, I think it would. I think it would affect. They'd still be a top 5 team, top 4 team, but who knows?
Fair.
Tyler, who are you playing mixed with the rest of 2024? That's a great question. If anyone is looking for a partner,
If Tyler only
if
knew.
anyone is looking for a partner,
If Tyler only knew.
so I do on the schedule have one tournament with Etta Wright,
Okay.
unless she drops me or something like that. But after that, I don't have many partners lined up for the rest of this year.
Who's your ultimate partner that
I'd love to play with Anna Bright. I'd love to play with Catherine. And I'm not talking about one tournament. I think multiple tournaments. It's hard to do these one-off tournaments.
Yeah.
Anna Bright, Catherine Parento, Etta would be fun.
How come you and Megan Dazan have never played together?
Well, we did an MLP and we actually did really well. But yeah, she got snatched up too quick.
She's got Andre now.
Yeah.
Do you have any more Jesse? And Jesse did okay.
No. Yeah, I actually enjoyed playing with her. She's super solid and mixed. Yeah. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think Jesse's great. She's amazing. Love Jesse. Hey, can we, real quick, while we're talking questions, did you see the event that freaking Breakers put on? Breakers in SoCal?
I saw maybe 10 minutes of it.
Dink Sanity with
Lynn.
Jeremy Lin. Yeah. I mean, Jeff is a witch, dude. Like, that event looked amazing. The fact that he put that all on himself, and they went and they did an exhibition, and they had Alex Trong played in it.
Yep. They actually asked me to commentate.
Yeah, that's cool. You didn't ask me, Jeff.
Well, he has, and you just turned him down. So.
Well, he asked me once, literally 5 hours before. He was like, "There's a flight at noon. Can you be there?" And I'm like, "Jeff, it's 10:30." But
he invited you.
he should have asked me because I would have done it with Jessie.
No, you wouldn't have.
And I wouldn't have had to do anything because Jessie talks the whole time. She can carry it.
Okay. Jimmy, you seem friendly with the up-and-coming players. How about the OGs like Riley and Matt Wright?
So Riley and I are fine. We're cool. I talk to Riley if I see him, pleasantries.
Mm-hmm.
I sat with Matt in the bronze medal match in Salt Lake when Lucy and Jackie played Megan and Etta.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt's hilarious.
You weren't smart enough to be with him? He only talks to other lawyers out there.
I was smart enough. Matt and I had a really long, during the match, 2 things I'll say about Matt. One, he's extremely smart when it comes to pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously knows his stuff. He's an OG. He's been around forever. Second thing is he's a very, very proud boyfriend. Like Lucy would hit some shots and like he was beaming.
He was beaming.
He was like very,
Blushing.
yeah, he was just happy for her. Like,
I'll say this about Matt. He's a winner. He finds ways to win.
Yeah.
He does not like to lose. If he starts losing, he'll chirp. He'll do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of success that way.
And we covered a lot of topics, Matt and I, including some overrated players, which I won't mention.
Mention them.
No,
Who's overrated?
I don't have Matt's permission.
Okay.
But I thought it was interesting his thoughts on some of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good dude. Like off the court, Matt's a good guy, and he, like you said, he's an OG. Let's talk about, speaking of OGs, should Kyle Yates be getting elected into the Pickleball Hall of Fame? Does that say more about the Pickleball Hall of Fame, or does it say more about Kyle Yates? Because
I like Kyle Yates, and I'm happy for him, but I thought normally they did. I'm not into the Hall of Fames that much, but don't they normally do that when you're retired?
yeah, usually it's like when you're retired.
Yeah, to me, it's a little bit weird that somebody can still be playing and be in the Hall of Fame. I think he actually deserves to be in it for sure, but do it while he's playing. I didn't know that was a thing.
It's kind of weird, right? Like he's inducted in the Hall of Fame. Him and Simone were both inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Now Simone's on the tail end of her career.
Yeah.
But like, was Kyle Yates? I mean, what I think that says kind of more about the Pickleball Hall of Fame and where it's at in its infancy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs. Obviously, you're going to have people like this inducted. Otherwise, nobody gets inducted.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem like there needs to be, some. I don't know what the requirements are because, like last year's Pickleball,
He's qualified.
You think so?
He's for sure qualified. He was the Ben Johns before Ben Johns.
I understand, but he's the Ben Johns when there was. I mean, he's only 29.
Yeah.
Like, was his career long enough?
I mean, that's a philosophy question, I think, but I would say yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, the other guy that was in there, by the way,
John Gulo from Utah.
Gulo
He
from
created
Utah.
the very first the PPF, the Professional Pickleball Federation.
Yep, they call him the father of pro pickleball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the first guy to actually pay players,
Well,
right? Wasn't it?
I mean, there were tournaments before then, but this was dedicated to paying professionals.
playing, which is awesome. And so,
Okay. Can Mari Humberg and Georgia take down Annalie Waters and CP? In my opinion, I don't think so. I think
they aren't even playing together. Oh, you mean if they play together?
They play together. My opinion at this moment, the only teams that have a shot are Rachel and Anna, and then Meg and Etta. And then there might be one other team out there.
I mean, there could be a team that could get hot, right? Like,
Yeah.
like we did see Jade and Jackie get up on them 9-1 in game 3 and then kind of melt down a little bit. But so there is a team that maybe, but those are so few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Do pros split prize money evenly? Example, if Ben partnered with somebody else, would he split 50-50?
Fun fact, we used to talk about this on the show back when there were partnerships, but Ben took the majority of the prize money when he partnered with Colin.
That's the word on the street.
The word on the street was that Ben would take it was like 70-30 and not 50-50. Like, so I thought that was kind of interesting when they first started partnering together.
Which pros should pair together but have not?
That's a good question. James and Rachel, they have an MLP, but I want to see them.
I don't know why you think they'd be so good.
I think that they would be fine.
Why?
Just because I love drama. And
Okay.
Rachel's close with Anna.
Okay.
I also think that I would like to see
I'd like to see Ben and Christian play. There's a lot
Ben
of hype
and Christian
about
would be good. Ben and Gabe Tardio.
that. Okay.
I think would be good.
For the heck of it, Ben and Tyson, that would be fun.
Ben and Tyson would be.
That would be electric.
Tyson would probably tell Ben he belongs on the right because Tyson's got the Ferrari forehand.
Hey, they'd have Kyle McKenzie sitting on their bench coaching them.
Oh my gosh, Kyle McKenzie and Preston Byes. Can you imagine? Which one's gonna admit who they really are first?
Somebody said, "How long do you think you can play professionally? Is there a max age?" So that's what I tell everybody about pickleball. Is the beauty, is the most incredible thing about pickleball is you can play for a very long time. I always give the reference of Matt Wright. He's 44, 45, and he's a top 5, top 8 player right now in the world.
Yeah.
And so there's some people that can play for a while, and then there's others that seem to drop off after, I don't know, 35 to 40. I don't know.
The one thing with Matt Wright is he's
smart. He wins.
He is smart. And he wins. And this is kind of what one of the things we talked about, him and I, was he basically said that, he's changed his game a little bit, right? And he's become the right side guy. And, he's not going to get the balls he used to get to, but he's smart enough to pair with a Fed.
He gets good partners too.
Yeah, he's smart enough to pair with a Ignatowicz. He's smart enough to pair with these guys. And, when he was playing with Ignatowicz, they lost in the finals. But, one of the things he was saying is like, I play my 30%. I'm going to play it well. And then, these balls that are going to, he said, because the book on me is attack my left foot. That's what Matt said. And he's like, it's not a secret. And he's like, but you play with these partners like a Ben, like a Fed, like a Ignatowicz, and they're going to take that ball. Yep. And he's like, and I have good enough hands and I know what I'm doing and, and I can go a long ways. Yep. So it just depends on how you evolve and you can play it for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it just varies. But I was very surprised. There was this one pro player that turned senior, and it felt like as soon as he hit seniors.
Scotty J?
I'm not going to say who. Oh. I felt like as soon as he hit seniors, I don't know if he stopped training or what, but his level of talent went down the drain, like significantly.
Weinbach?
I'm not going to say who.
Gingrich?
I'm not going to say who.
Oh, I know.
No.
Steve Deacon?
No. Not him. Oh, not him. Okay. But it was one of those that you mentioned just before then. Yeah, but he was a top pro.
Life is different when you're 50.
He was a top pro, and then as soon as he hit 50, I'm not joking. It seemed like his level.
I mean, look at you. Like when you hit 30, a little harder to get out of bed, wasn't it?
Well, I've had better results recently than I did before then, so I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm running that 5-minute mile now.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we'll just do a few more. Is Tyler's plan to have more regular doubles partners? Yes, I am really tired of bouncing around tournament to tournament, and so I am trying to play with the same person multiple tournaments in a row.
So Matt Mayfield of the PPA sent out a tweet about like now is essentially the time where players are starting for 2025. Like, are you looking to get your partners already for 2025?
I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm finishing this year off with Connor Garnett. We are playing pretty much every single tournament, and then from there, if things go well, long as they go okay or well.
Do we need to go find you some young up-and-coming female?
Sure, let's do it. Let's pool together and gather all the resources.
And we groom her like Colin.
Whoa. And
train her and get her ready for you for 2025.
Hey, I'm ready. I love mixed doubles. Mixed doubles is fun.
Like, if you fit that category, right in to the show. And let's get you out here with Jason Peary.
Yeah.
And let's train you and get you ready to be Tyler's partner for 2025.
Who's ready?
This could be good. We could do a reality show about this.
Yeah.
Right? We could put them all in a house. All these girls in a house. And follow them around with cameras. It could be like Love Island, but mixed doubles island.
Yeah.
Do you watch Love Island?
I don't know.
Or you could do, it'd be even better. You could do Love is Blind and you don't know who it actually is.
Yeah.
And Jason and I get to choose for you.
Yeah.
You interview them behind a door.
Yeah.
And like they walk out. And what if it was like Taylor Townsend?
That'd be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Or it could be like your mom, who actually is
Hey, as long as they can play, I don't care. I don't care who it is if they're good.
Your mom plays a lot, bro.
She used to.
Yeah. I see her all the time. I knew her before I met you. Yeah. Well, I knew you, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Anything else, Jimmy?
No.
We got MLP the following week
New York.
in New York, Central Park.
Yeah.
I heard you're going to be there.
So did I. I heard that too. So I guess we'll find out. Are you staying at the Empire Hotel?
Yeah, that's where it's only $500 or $600 a night.
Oh yeah, no big deal. And it's but they're like, well, it's close to Central Park. Well, if you've been to New York, it's on the other side of Central Park.
Yeah.
So by close, they mean it's only an hour walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it should be fun though. The New York event looks incredible.
Okay. Do you like progression or traditional format draws? What are your thoughts?
I feel like it's really I like progression draws better from like a playing perspective. Okay. I think for the players it's better. I think that it helps them. But from a viewing perspective, I think that progression draws are tougher to get into, tougher to follow. And it's a week-long commitment as opposed to just a couple of days.
I would literally take almost the exact opposite stance viewpoint than you just said, because for a lot of players, they're only playing one match. It's hard to get ready for that one match. Whereas in a traditional tournament, you're playing match after match after match after match. So you're warmed up. It's easier to tell the stories of matches rather than having 10 to 15 minutes in between a match to say, hey, this team is playing this upcoming team. Whereas in the progressive format, they have a full day to say, hey, this matchup, watch out for this, look out for this player doing this, everything like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see both sides of it, but
I do
as
get
a spectator,
it is a little bit tricky to follow along, but it gives PPA and people more time to hype up matchups.
Like I love that the PPA is now showing every single court, and it's like S1, S2, S3, S4.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome, and you can watch any match that you want. But yeah, when those schedules come out, it's like, oh shit, it's overwhelming.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Anything else, Jimmy?
No, I'm pumped for close call replay. You can no longer hook people, Tyler.
Well, you can, just not on the center courts.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to ask for all your matches to be on the side court.
Exactly. All right, if you've made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow along with our newsletter. We provide a ton of updates, especially around the tournament, breaking news, rumors, highlights, everything like that. Thank you to our sponsors.
Vulcan,
if you're
V-Pro.
in the market for anything that they offer, please use our code. It supports us, and it's getting you the best product at the best price.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next time.